So I'm going to take a look at Canary in the Coal Mines content about the shape of the Earth. He starts here. Do you see it? What about Lemuria, Mu? Can you spot the topography? It's identical and right where the map says it should be. So using my pattern recognition, I see there's some type of topography that looks reminiscent of a landmass there. We are looking at land that is south of Guinea. So I immediately think of the alleged island to the west of Australia, a Mandela effect I previously covered. Canary's thread begins September 28, 2024. It starts with the claim that here is the real FE map. This will be heavily suppressed, but it's worth getting it out there. I think he's suggesting that this is supposed to be the actual place where we live. We're here if you're American. Google Earth maps have been suppressed to hide that mine of land in the first slide. It matches Pangea ancient maps. It appears a key contention is that this area of land here has been taken out of Google Maps, Google Earth, and that stitch lines are seams where points are brought together for the globe. Here, the missing lands is matched to Pangea. He notes a company called Pangea just happens to be investigating the Lazarev ice shelf. A citation reveals that German individuals are involved with the project. Here is more German associations, also deep water ingress for submarine travel below the ice. The last slide is Lazarev ice shelf on a map, German orgs. Here's Lazarev ice shelf on the FE map, which looks like a passageway. What is right beyond the ice shelf of Lazarev, the new Schwabenland, where the Germans made it before WW2 ended? Here are some other maps. Wegener Company was associated with Pangea from earlier. Here's the Weger Islands. The map of New Schwabenland includes Wegener Islands, again for orientation. In fuller context, this is the southern tip of Africa. So you're talking about travel through Lazarev to New Schwabenland. Here's where the Germans are supposed to be. So again, on the globe, Ron Ice Shelf and Maitrey Station are very near to each other, but they are far apart here on this map. And so I think this may be the first big claim that we can try to corroborate. So when you calculate the area for this shape between the stitches, supposedly this new shape is formed, which excludes an area presumed to be the South Pole. Canary asks, is this because the South Pole is made up? He shows that on the FE map, there's a place called Tierra del Fuego, which is in the Hidden Lands area. But we know a Tierra del Fuego, that's in South America at the tip. By the way, I first heard of this place from an anonymous contact. An Argentine naval base is located there, known as the Ushuaia Naval Base. Mythical Lemuria is also mentioned on the map. There seems to be some type of coincidental outline on Google Maps for Lemuria. I'll show you. So you have this texture here. Note this hook here. So I think this might be represented here. You have this little structure there. And I see either this here or it might be this shelf here. What's this behind the hidden lands? And so Atlantis is also behind this line. He notes similarity of this map to the surface of the face of the moon. The counter argument would be that this map was made intentionally, knowing the surface details of the face of the moon. He does a proportionate distances calculation between India, Africa, and South America. He contends that the undersea tectonic ridge you can see here is a part of the stitch line. Says the Mariana Trench is really the edge of Lemuria or Mu. The Atlantis ridge comparison I showed you before. These distances were derived from the previous example by subtracting 19 million miles. Another example is given comparing Guinea, Argentina, and Australia, but noted that 19.9 million miles is the farthest distance from any direction. Guinea to Argentina is 6.9 million miles. Australia to Argentina is 13.5 million miles. So 19.9 million miles minus 13.5 million miles equals 6.4 million miles. And thus you have these generated distances on this map, 6.9 versus 6.4 million miles. I take that back, not million miles, but meters. These are all in meters. Supposedly there's a bust of Lenin at the South Pole of Inaccessibility. There's a place called the Pole of Inaccessibility. This may be a part of a code for determining how Antarctica is compressed. Here is a person in a sled, it appears, next to the bust, representing Australia. I see iridium, the element that marked the end of the dinosaurs, and important for its use in Antarctica. Canary asked that since this is near the edge of the FE map, would this be considered the firmament? And that's why it's a blue color. I wouldn't say that's compelling because the sky is blue in many places. The counter argument would be that it's just a sunny day. He then goes on to show the so-called sky ice, very expensive blue rock supposedly derived from meteors. There are apparently two poles of inaccessibility, an outer pole defined by the edge of Antarctic's floating ice shelves and an inner pole defined by grounding lines of these sheets. And so he asks if this area on the other side of the Amory Passage, could these areas represent the two areas of inaccessibility, the poles. The same coordinate, 66 degrees south, can be found on the Ingersoll-Lockwood website by clicking on the C for case-by-case basis, and you're shown it here. Let's the code word is, there is a Russian station called Vostok, which is reliably extremely cold, minus 89 degrees Celsius, which is minus 128 degrees Fahrenheit. Here's a little porthole location. Here's the relationship to Davis Station, and here's Vostok. Here's the Amory ice shelf, and there's another station, which is located near the coast called Mirny by Russia. So you have both Vostok and Mirny. On the FE map, here's what would be Mirny. In Vostok, there's magnetometry done, the purpose of which is to measure the Earth's magnetic field. There's apparently a lake beneath Vostok. There's a Russian joke about an organism called 46b, which lives beneath the ice, considered to be a man-eater. But it is fabricated, right? Canary asks, why is Africa so big, and why is Greenland so small? Here's a graphic visualizing the true size of Africa, and here's the United States in just one portion of Africa. The commonly used Mercator projection inflates the size of all distal locations from the equator. And so here we have size comparisons for the extent of Greenland compared to the extent of Africa going east to west. And so here we have accurate representations of the size of the respective countries. You note that the United States here is smaller than this version of the United States. Greenland is absolutely tiny in comparison to this version of Greenland. I note in comparing the United States to Africa, when you compare on the FE map, the United States is tiny compared to this gargantuan Africa. So it does seem, even to my eyes, that Africa is inflated in size on this map to some degree. You know, it's Schirmer Hills, this word here, Schirmacher, was discovered by the Germans with associated ponds, which may be in this area, shown again here with context to Africa. Now draws our attention to Amundsen Scott Station, the station I mentioned in this video, What's Up with the 24-Hour Antarctic Sun. Amundsen Scott on Google Maps, the sun appearing far away with a halo, edge of magnetic field next to an ocean. There's the Thimble ice shelf, which has been featured in some FE videos. It's in between the Atlantic Ocean and Amundsen Scott Station. He goes on to explore these images along the side, which show that the FE map is supposed to be symbolic of the human eye and something to do with shadows, and I presume this area here leads to the phenomena of the lunar eclipse, and explained here is the phenomena of the solar eclipse. He says, remember that weird eclipse we had in April? There was this map circulating that showed this structure, and there was a supposed NASA whistleblower saying a ship came out of the eclipse. I recall this controversy, but I can't find any imagery of it on the internet. If you remember this and you can find sources for this, please share it in comments below. We're shown the anomaly as it changes and spreads in Africa. It settled right past Rizzer Larsen and Newmar Station. So you see like what looks like a beam, then this is Newmar Station. So he asks, was that caused by the Asgardians bringing back up to help get rid of the DS? And so in context on the FE map, here's where the beam may have projected from. This is a portion of Africa, so delineated here with this red line. And this is Asgard. And this thread continues on. I'll stop right here. I'll add this thread from the beginning as a comment underneath the video, and I'll pin that thread to YouTube. It appears this thread goes quite a long ways, but we'll do a part 2 and maybe a part 3 down the road. Thanks for watching.